Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders, the information on today's program was gathered from many different places and many different people. If you hear yourself in our conversation today, please remember it is not all about you. Today we're going to start off with a topic that just seems to keep raising its head over and over when I'm out and about and talking to people. The big question is this: Dick, why should I learn to be a better speaker? You know, I can get up and say some things in front of people. I can do it off the cuff, and why should I really spend some time learning to do this better? Well, here's the answer. People who are able to speak in public make more money. And if that's a thing that you're trying to do, that's good. But I'm going to tell you this, it goes further than that. People who are able to speak in public can make a difference in the world around them by bringing new ideas and new thought processes, changing the paradigm of people and things. That's why this becomes so important. If it's all about the money, well, I'm sorry for you. Because using your voice means much more than just making money. Yes, I do get paid for using my voice, speaking on stage and bringing stories, as well as here on the radio. But it needs to be more than that. What is your passion? My passion is helping people help themselves get to where they want to go and helping them realize where it is that they want to go. Trying to find and build that roadmap. But this is the big piece here. So you really want to improve your public speaking and your interviews and presentations. You see, we all make presentations, whether we believe it or not. It could be a presentation of what we're having for dinner tonight. It could be a presentation at the grocery store and finding out just how and what to buy. You see, no matter where we are and what we're doing, we're always making a presentation. We're always giving a story. We're always speaking out in public. Now, the people who refine that talent do seem to be the people that others want to listen to. They use words that people understand and can grasp. They can paint a picture inside the other person's mind with the words that they use. So, if that is really true, then you must be open to get some assistance. And I say that not lightly, because I have met many different speakers around the country who tell me over and over again that they must practice their trade. And if their voice is their trade, they practice even more. How to enunciate, which words to use, how to choose who to speak and where to speak. You see, these things are really more important, aren't they? Can it be all about the money? I guess so. But I think it's always more. You see, I want to be able to give you some tips that will help build your confidence and improve your speaking ability. Now, listen closely. These are important. First of all, I want you to practice listening carefully to others in general to compare their styles, their cadence, and their mannerisms. Many years ago, I used to study films and watch how the actor actually portrayed a certain piece, and I watched their emotions as they came out with their body language. You see, this is a big part of speaking in public. It's not just the words, it's our body language also. So to prepare yourself, try to do your best to listen to others and really start to compare their styles, their cadence, and their mannerisms. Now, I don't want you to just copy them and become a clone, because all of us have our own things and own mannerisms. Whether we really try to copy someone or not, our true self will come out. But we can study how and what is more effective. Though John Wayne always said if you wanted to be listened to was to speak slow and low. And we found over and over that the way we speak, but the level and the tones that we use, people like to hear certain tones. It's usually a lower tone. It's usually a more of a bass type situation that comes clearly, especially over microphones. Now, ladies, don't freak out about that, because I have to tell you that many ladies, including my wife, speak wonderfully on the microphone or on the headset. They just have learned how to modulate their voices, and that makes them a better speaker. Now, when I go and listen to other speakers, I quite honestly, I evaluate their performance. Now, people tell me that, Dick, you shouldn't do that on Sunday morning. Well, I do. And the reason for that is even though the pastor is there providing a sermon, there are parts of it that are performance-based, whether we want to believe that or not. You see, we are all storytellers, and those who can tell a story better than the others are listened to more often. So it is and does become a performance. So kind of look at them and listen to them, evaluate them, get your checklist out. I know it's terrible, but I do it all the time. I do it because I believe it makes me a better speaker. And I have found out that great speakers, they evaluate other speakers also. Listen to yourself form what you are going to say in your head as a means to self-correct or have clarity. By this I mean, play over in your mind the words you're going to use. Hear yourself actually saying them. See if they sound connective and conjoined. If there's a word that you're having a hard time pronouncing or understanding, I would encourage you to find another word. Now, the biggest part of this is really then, after you've played this forward in your mind, to actually speak it out loud so you can hear yourself. Now, I've found over and over it's better for me to videotape and watch my hand movements, watch my face movements, and see how I'm actually presenting. This helps me over and over when I'm on stage or I'm out in front of a group of people where I don't have that opportunity. You see, those things come natural now, but they didn't when I started. Making sure that you're really staying on top of your game is going to be really important to everything you do. Now, I'm going to encourage you to do something that's a little dangerous, and that's get some written feedback from those sitting in your audience or those who are listening to you. You see, this written feedback will give you an opportunity to look at and say, was my modulation good? Were my gestures good? Were they overboard? What was I doing too much of? Were there some words that I was repeating over and over? This will give you an opportunity to really go back and look at your performance and say, did I do my best? And that's all you can really do. I want to encourage you to practice your presentation with a coach or someone who will give you that honest feedback. Now, we work with people to help them with their speaking in front of people. We normally start off with a small group that they speak in front of. 1, 2, or 3. Very small. So it's very intimate, and there's no place for being really overly, angst about the whole situation. As they do better and move forward, we stack more and more people into the audience. And as we do that, they become more and more comfortable speaking in front of a group. Now, people have asked me over and over, well, why do you use a large congregation like in a big church? And normally that's a great place to, because the acoustics are good. The presentation area is good. And it gives everyone a chance to take and really not stand behind the podium. So those practice opportunities where we can videotape, we can actually get some feedback from the people in the audience. This is going to help you no matter where you're going to do. Now, oftentimes, like I said, I'll videotape my presentation prior to releasing it. And I'll be honest with you, I'll go through and grade it a little bit to see if it's worthy of putting out on the open market. There have been times when I've put things out that I wasn't really satisfied with, and the feedback showed it. So make sure that you're getting that feedback from other people. When people give you that feedback, though, don't get all wrapped up in it. Take it for what it's worth. Some information for you to put in and do better. And that's all any of us can really do. I'm going to also encourage you to do, like I've said before, read what you've written and make sure that the words you know are used correctly and you know how to pronounce them. It's terrible that, sometimes we mispronounce words because we've heard them incorrectly ourselves. And that's why it's important to listen to other speakers. And it's important to run your opportunity by someone else. Let them listen to you. Did you understand all the words? Did I say them at the right time? Were they in the right context? Was I able to explain what they actually meant if one asked? That's a big, big piece. So don't use words that you don't know, can't pronounce, or are just really big words you think is going to impress someone. I have truly found that when I find a word that I struggle with, that I just can't seem to wrap my tongue around, that if I replace it and I become comfortable with it, it makes a big difference. I do encourage you to practice, practice, practice. I work with a young lady, she says practice makes permanent. And I believe that she is totally correct. And the reason I say that is, and she says it is, we have seen over and over when we work with our clients that when they practice speaking, not only do they gain confidence in themselves and the people around them gain confidence in what they're saying, but they find themselves moving up that ladder of success. You have to decide what that means to you. I'm going to take and really encourage you and tell you that people that know how to speak in front of groups will always rise to the top. Now, we're going to jump into a next topic because I believe it goes right along with this, about this successful person, whether it's a speaker or what your job is. But successful people, quite honestly with you, make mistakes. You see, it seems wrong to think that mistakes make you smarter, but the truth is they really do. The insight there is to discover what made it a mistake and learn from it. You see, if you look at mistakes as learning tools, you won't be so afraid to make them. Look, we all do. Even the best speakers and the best leaders I've ever noticed or listened to or been involved with on a personal basis make mistakes. The difference between Successful people and those maybe not so successful are the successful people learn from their mistakes. They actually write down that mistake or opportunity in a journal or something and keep it. So, and they write down what happened and what they could do different and what did they learn from it. By doing that, it really starts to imprint on how not to do it next time, but all of a sudden it becomes a learning tool in a positive experience instead of a negative experience. Now, our brains don't really know the difference between positive and negative. They just know what you put in. So why not make it a positive one so you're moving in the right direction at all times? Seems to make sense to me. Now, successful people also learn at an early time to take a risk. Now, you've heard it many times, I'm sure, that no risk, no reward. It's simply more than that. When you believe in your vision, living your mission, and have a strategy in place, the risks will become calculated. Yes, there's always a risk of failure, but what of the reward? Again, failure, making mistakes, they're learning tools. They're always, if you look at them in a positive manner, moving you forward and not back. So making mistakes and taking the risk really starts to set you above the person next to you. Successful people, you bet, they're willing to take the risk to make a mistake. Now, successful people also seem to have an ability to know when to put themselves in a timeout. I know that sounds a little funny. We those of us who have raised children have always gone through that, go to the corner and put yourself in timeout. But we've seen over and over that successful people do this on their own. You see, placing yourself in a timeout really is a time out to think, to evaluate, to discover and reconnect both to yourself and to your vision. Take the time to do this. There's always a big decision to be made, busy or productive. Sometimes busy is not productive. It's just doing, but it's not moving you forward. There are times when you need to place yourself in a timeout and to do that evaluation. Have I just been busy running around like a chicken with my head cut off? Or have I actually been moving myself forward through my strategy so I can live my mission and achieve my vision? Putting yourself in a timeout also gives you time to reflect. Is this where I'm going? Am I in the right place? Am I on the right ladder? Am I on the right path? Reflect on where I'm at. And you might find yourself reflecting, is this really where I wanted to go? Do I need to change my roadmap? You see, that's the importance of taking time out. Now, people around me, they tell me that they call it many different things, meditation or the new age. Look, whatever you want to call it, that's fine with me. I'm just going to encourage you that we have found successful people put themselves in time out, that they're willing to take the risk to make mistakes. We have found that successful people get focused and have a clear vision. They get focused and they make themselves very clear on their vision. These two things, focused and clear, are time-consuming part of the vision process. So many times we meet people who just jump into it just willy-nilly, and they have this vision, but they really haven't thought it through. They really haven't looked at their mission, their purpose, and their calling, and they've just gotten busy with the strategy without taking the time to really put some time and thought process behind it and get really focused. One of my friends uses the word laser focused. And I have to tell you, he sometimes get on my nerves, but he is laser focused. When he sets his strategy and looks and sets it through, looking at his mission and his vision. But when he sets that strategy, boy, I just watch him go. It's such a pleasure because I know he's taken the time. He told me that every year he takes at least one day a month to look at and get focused so that he has a clear vision that he's able to partake of as well as share with other people that can help him achieve that. You see, in this process, there will be times when you'll need to start and be willing to add or take away and make it true. Make it achievable and make it the vision that you truly believe in. It gives you a time to raise possibilities, to objections, and to actions. This is a time to really get focused. What am I going to need to do every day to achieve my vision? Sounds pretty easy. I'm going to tell you this is a tough one. But we've found over and over that successful people do this. Now, we've found over and over that successful people put their vision in writing. They have found that when they put it in writing, it's easier to make it into a reality. Once you have focused, clear, and achievable vision, you must put it down on paper, they say. There's a connection from our mind to our hand, and mind to the unconscious, and the unconscious to the conscious. What that means is as we write it down, we're not only stimulating the left side of our brain, but the right side with action. As this happens, it starts to motivate our inner juices to take and make it really a true statement. Also, if it's written down, you can share it with other people. And you just never know who might be sitting beside you or where they're sitting beside you, and they find out what your vision is, and they can be of help and service. You just never know, but if it's not written down, it's just a thing. And it's really tougher to make it a true thing, a true statement, a true life. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm going to encourage you to always do this and have it available to be shared with those around you. Now, we've over and over seen that successful people don't waste a lot of time worrying on the how. This one gets a little funny, but it's actually fact. Sometimes we waste so much time on making sure we know how we will do each and every step of the process before we get started. And when we do, we just are holding ourselves back. There was a young man who had a great idea, and I kept telling him he needs to put it in place. He says, well, it's not done yet. I don't have all the parts and pieces done. And by the time he did, someone else had already put that thought process in place and turned the company. He came to me all downhearted, and he said, well, that was my idea. I said, yeah, but they took action on it and put it into work. That's the difference. So getting started on the how will take care of itself. But you need to get started. Do what you can do today, and then tomorrow, do it again. Put the idea in place. Get the vision and the mission. Get it down. The thing about this is the strategy might change for you. As you go through, you might have to take a different course on that roadmap, but you still have a place marked where you're going. Now, how you get there sometimes is going to change. But I'll tell you what, if it's not written down, it's going to be tough to make the mark when you don't know where you're going. This last one I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to go over them, is very important. Leaders, successful people that we have encountered all create an emotional connection with their network. Emotional intelligence is something that we all need to work on. It has to go together and it needs to be put into place. Creating an emotional connection with your network is going to be an important piece of becoming successful. You see, once you have written down your vision and you can share it with others, and I truly do mean everyone you can come in contact with. You just never know who may be able and willing to be of help, and they could be sitting right next to you. Now I'm going to caution you here. All of us who have been through some traumatic pieces, the caution is this: your close friends and family will sometimes not be your best supporters. It's not because they don't love you or don't like you. It's just they don't see your dream. And you have to understand your dream is not going to be everyone else's dream. It's yours. The difference is this emotional connection that you're going to have by telling the story of what your dream is going to be so important as to whether or not they're going to have a buy-in. I'm just encouraging you that if it's not your closest friend, it's not your family, do not let that take away your vision. Hold on to it. Hold fast. This might change your plan, your day-to-day routine. It might change the way you're going to do things, but it doesn't change the place on the map that you've parked your eggs. It doesn't change the mission of your calling and your purpose. That didn't change. But you know, on that big road map, there's lots of different roads. There's lots of different ways to get there. By connecting with people, making this emotional connection with others really starts to place you in a different sphere. And when that happens, you're going to see some things starting to move. But action is the attraction. And you are the only one that can make it happen for you. So successful people have learned some traits. They've learned how to speak. They've learned how to tell a story in front of people. They've learned that making mistakes isn't the worst thing in the world. They've learned that taking a risk can be the most exciting thing that you do in life every day. And if it doesn't work out, ask the questions. What will I do next time? And what did I learn from it? When you find yourself getting bogged down or just in your world overly busy, put yourself in a timeout. Take some time to evaluate and rediscover that path that you have placed in front of you. Get focused and make sure that you have a clear understanding of your vision. Put your vision in writing. Share it with other people. And once you do, don't waste time on the how. The how will happen as you move through this exciting time. And always remember to create that emotional connection with those around you. I see our time has come to a close. And on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, I want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. My hope is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you become a better leader. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Give us a call here at 727-422-1833. Send me an email, dick@ewfw.org. Go to the website. Spend some time, look around, and you know what? Send me a note from there, www.ewfw.org. And when you know for a fact that you would want to have myself, Dick Powell, come and do a leadership seminar with your organization, Please contact us immediately. We book up very quickly throughout the year, and we want to come and be with you. And until next time, DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.